This is not an album review. For those of you who are expecting one, well, you can leave if you wish, but I kind of hope that you do stay around. Today is a day where we remember 3 icons of music. However, before we do that, we also sit here and reflect on the victims of the Virginia Tech shootings that occurred earlier this morning, as well as the victims of the Virginia Tech shootings that have occurred in the past. However, since this is a music channel and not a news channel, all that I will say is I wish the victims' families all the best, and I express my deepest condolences and sorrow for these horrible acts that have to happen on American soil. Going back to music, though, we are remembering 3 icons today, 2 of which were tragically killed, the third of which would be celebrating a birthday, if he indeed were still alive as well. The 3 men that we are going to be speaking about today are all icons in their respective eras of music, and all very, very terribly missed. First of which, I'm wearing a t-shirt of. I'm wearing a t-shirt of the Beatles today. It's actually my very first Beatles t-shirt, which is kind of odd considering I've been on this earth for nearly 28 years, and I've been a Beatles fan for more than half of that. John Lennon. John Lennon and the Beatles were the biggest band in the world whenever they were active. If you didn't know of the Beatles, you were questioned whether or not you've been living under a rock, whether or not you've been a sheltered child, or whether or not your parents loved you so much that they buried you in a bomb shelter with nothing more than some Perry Como and some Elvis Presley vinyl, and just totally kept the Beatles from you. After the dissolution of the Beatles, John Lennon went on to have a fairly successful solo career as well, writing such songs such as Imagine, marrying Yoko Ono. He, of course, was killed and shot. Moving on to another icon of the same time frame, one whose career was significantly shorter by his own hand. However, he would be celebrating his birthday today, and that is the Doors' Jim Morrison. I may not have chronicled it very much on this channel, however, I am also a bigger Doors fan than I am a Beatles fan, which is all too ironic that I also own no Doors merchandise as far as shirts or bobbleheads or whatever is concerned, but I'm merely concerned about the music. Jim Morrison was an icon because of his unique stage presence, his enigmatic lyrics, the kind of darkness that the Doors were able to shadow in their music, even though their music sometimes had a very, I guess, turbulent or a very jovial feel to it. Songs such as Light My Fire, songs such as Riders on the Storm, People Are Strange. These are all songs that people can relate to, especially those of us who are strange, obviously. This man's also known for not being willing to omit one of the lines from his song whenever he made an appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. Ed Sullivan did not want him to say the line, "Baby, we couldn't get much higher." Jim didn't see it that way. He wanted to say the line because that was the line that he wrote, and subsequently he was banned from Ed Sullivan. The whole band was banned, not just him. Jim Morrison is an icon because he has influenced now generation upon generation of musicians and music fans. The Doors still remain to be one of the most important acts of their time, and still continue to this day to inspire future musicians. However, speaking of inspirations, we get to the final man on our list, and that man is Dimebag or Diamond Darrell Abbott. He's mainly just known by either Dimebag or Diamond Darrell. He was, of course, the electric and all too fun guitar player for the band Pantera, as well as Damageplan. Through the turbulent journey that was Pantera's time as a band, Dimebag was able to establish himself as one of the premier guitar players of his time, somebody who was extremely inventive, but at the same time, a technically precise and a magical guitar player. Somebody who could grace the neck with his hands, make sounds emit from a guitar that people had never heard before, and write signature solos that practicing guitar fans and practicing guitar players still struggle to this day, perhaps after a decade of trial, just to get just right. He's one of the most influential, one of the most friendly men that you ever met in metal, somebody who was extremely personal with many other members of the metal scene. Recently, in the remastered edition of the Anthrax Behind the Music, which was on VH1 Classic, It was said they had a very close relationship with Scott Ian and the boys from Anthrax. This was a death that whenever it occurred, it was crude, it was senseless, it was pointless. 7 years ago, the life of one of our most dedicated and wonderful brothers was taken from us in a small bar in Ohio during a Damage Plan performance. And in the moments afterwards, the whole entire world wept. Metal itself had lost one of the best guitar players that it will ever see. Today we honor and remember these three men, two of which that were taken tragically from us, one of which is just celebrating his birthday, but it was also gone far too soon by his own hand. Today we remember these three men. Today we reflect upon life as a metal fan, life as a music fan, and what music means to us. We reflect on what these three men meant to us, while we also search to find answers as to why. Why? Those who are the greatest, those who inspire the world, those who bring beauty to our hearts in the sound of music, are often gone far too soon, before we even really get a true chance to get to know them.